at this time I'm going to call Neil back up, and we're going to start talking about some of the great things that are happening across the upstate. What we wanted to do is very briefly have a few organizations or initiatives that are happening in the region, just share about them. One of the things we've learned in the time I've been here is there is so much going on in the upstate that not everybody knows about everything. So one of the things we've tried to do over time in a number of different ways is to make sure people are connecting with others who are doing similar things and others who are having success. So as part of the program today, we're going to highlight some initiatives, not specifically initiatives that 10 at the Top is doing. In fact, they're not. Only one of them we really had a role in. But things that we felt like are initiatives that encourage collaboration, partnerships that are regional or even in some cases statewide that are really helping to grow the upstate. So Neil's going to kick it off, and then we have some folks who are going to give us some good brief presentations.
How many of you belong to more than one chamber of commerce? Raise your hand. How many of you belong to either a state organization or a regional organization that does the same thing but it's in a different region? Raise your hand. Have you ever noticed that every time you go to one of these meetings, everybody's trying to solve the same problem in their own town? And what would happen if they talked to each other? What would happen if they collaborated? How magnificent it would be. You know, the thing that I've noticed in my years of involvement with 10 at the Top, as well as having been on numerous chambers and other things, is that we didn't talk to each other. Now we have regional chambers. Now we have people doing things on a more regional basis. We have people making out-of-body decisions, and that's the fact that something that's not happening in my county is good for it to happen in your county because it will benefit me. That was a foreign thought 10 years ago. People never even thought that way. I think collaboration has helped teach us how to be better stewards of our region, how that it doesn't have to happen in your backyard in order for you to benefit from it. And so with that, we have chosen to kick off having people get together and talk to each other. And when I say having people get together and talk to each other, it does not mean that we called a meeting and said, y'all talk to each other. What it really means is people started realizing, sitting in the rooms with each other, that there was information that they could share that may make them better, that may actually help them achieve their missions much, much quicker and much more effectively and efficiently if they talk to each other rather than just doing it alone. So in kicking this off, I'd like to have, with United Way Born Learning Program, Dr. Russell come up and kick us off.
I am the school superintendent at Spartanburg School District 7. I also have the privilege of chairing the United Way of Piedmont, which serves Spartanburg, Cherokee, and Union County. I don't have enough time to tell you what the research says about early learning, about birth to age 3 and how critical those years are to a child's development. The research is there, so we don't even need to go there today. But what are we doing about it? Because there's still such a lack of knowledge out there about the importance of early learning. So we are awfully proud that the 7 United Ways who serve these 10 wonderful upstate counties have come together to address this issue. Those United Ways are in Greenville County, Anderson, Lawrence, Greenwood and Abbeville, Oconee, Pickens, and of course United Way of Piedmont. And basically what Born Learning Upstate SC is, and here's the website, it is a public campaign to raise awareness about the importance of early learning. And it's directed not at you all per se, but to the most important people, to the mothers and the fathers and the grandparents and the child care providers who are working with our most precious jewels, and those are our young people. On October the 15th, we launched Born Learning Upstate South Carolina at the Runway Cafe at the downtown airport. And as I said, this is a community engagement campaign. The information is in your brochure today about Born Learning. The website is there. But just very quickly, I want to tell you a little bit about what you'll find when you go to that website. First of all, you'll find a part that says learning takes place everywhere. Whether you're driving down the road in the car, whether you're walking to the grocery store, we're trying to help our parents and our grandparents and everyone understand that learning takes place at all times. We're trying to give them strategies and things they can do while taking those small trips to work with their young people. You'll find a section on there about parenting resources. I have a 12-year-old son, and I have a 10-year-old son. Educated family, but there are things that I didn't know, quite frankly, as a parent, because I'd never done it before. But there are so many wonderful resources here that United Ways have pulled together to address many of the resources that our families need. Ages and stages of growth. What is a child supposed to be doing between 6 and 12 months? What is a child supposed to be doing between 18 and 24 months? What is my child supposed to be doing for 36 months? So we have information in there to help families know exactly what should be taking place at the different ages and stages of development. And then the other thing we're awfully excited about, we have all over the Upstate these born learning trails popping up. And these are interactive trails while families are on walks with their young people where they can stop and talk and educate their young people. We had our last football game against Gaffney High School. I'm at Spartanburg High School, that's where I serve as superintendent. And our teacher cadets, their teacher cadets, and their student council, we came together and had a big competition to raise money for born learning trails in our communities. And in doing so, we're educating our young people about the importance of early learning and also about the good work that these United Ways are doing. So there, where'd you go? I want to thank you, and Tina at the top, for pulling this together, and these United Ways are coming together. We also have a number of public service announcements, and I'm going to end my last minute by sharing some of those with you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. First of all, I'd like to thank Dean and Tina at the top for having me come in and talk about some of the success that we have had in the Upstate Apprenticeship Carolina. I'm actually fortunate enough to be the apprenticeship consultant for Apprenticeship Carolina for the entire Upstate area, which means I get to work with the best companies, the best technical colleges, and the best economic development professionals across the state. But I'm just partial. But I wanted to just talk with you briefly about our program, who we are, and some of our program components, and tell you how we have made some headway and have had some really good success with some of the companies here in the Upstate. All right, we are part of the South Carolina Technical College system. And for those of you who aren't aware, there are a couple divisions within the technical college system. I'm actually part of the Division for Economic Development and Workforce Competitiveness. Within our division, there are two houses, the Apprenticeship Carolina side and the Ready SC side. And I see LaTokia Trigg there. She's actually our Ready SC program manager for Spartanburg Community College. Just real briefly, Ready SC actually works with companies who are looking to either expand or move operations here in South Carolina to help train up their people. Apprenticeship Carolina actually takes over in order to help those companies register their training programs as formalized apprenticeships. But before I go any further, and I typically spend probably 30 minutes to an hour saying this is not in any way, shape, form, or fashion a union program. This is just a program to help companies register their training programs as formalized apprenticeships and receive a South Carolina tax credit for that. Within our technical college system, there are also two divisions within each college, the Continuing Education Division and the Credit Programs Division. The Continuing Education programs actually work very, very closely with industry to develop company-specific training. So if you need training and need to reach out to a technical college, I encourage you to touch base with your continuing ed divisions so that they can help you with that. Apprenticeship Carolina has actually been around since 2007. We were actually the brainchild of the South Carolina Chamber of Commerce. So every chance I get, I thank the South Carolina Chamber for creating us and giving us jobs. But we have been around in order to help companies just formalize their training processes. And an apprenticeship program here in South Carolina is very, very easy to set up. How many of you have maybe lived in other areas and have seen apprenticeship programs in different areas of the country? Well, I promise here in South Carolina it's much easier and a much quicker process. There are three primary components: on-the-job learning, job-related education, and scalable wage progression. And these are very, very easy programs to put together. And within our group, we work with a lot of different industries: manufacturing, IT, hospitality, warehousing and distribution, and pretty much any industry that you can think of, we can put apprenticeship programs together for. Here in the Upstate, we've had a lot of good success. We have over 150 companies that have registered programs within the 10-county region. I actually registered a program this morning in Greenwood for a textile company who has been around for a very, very long time. So we are still registering programs on a weekly basis. So we're seeing a lot of success within each of our counties that we deal with. We have over 275 occupations that have been registered, meaning that there are 275 different types of programs that have been registered throughout the Upstate region. Over 1,400 Upstate citizens have been put into an apprenticeship program. That's important for two reasons. Each individual company receives a $1,000 South Carolina state tax credit for every registered apprentice, and that also means that over 1,400 South Carolinians have gone through a program and have gotten complete credit for having gone through that program and also having part of the education components that's required. That's a lot of success in itself. This is our next chapter, our South Carolina Youth Apprenticeship Program. This is what we're seeing a lot of interest in, especially in the manufacturing sector, where companies actually select high school students to begin their workforce pipeline. And you will definitely be hearing more about that program as time goes on. Hopefully next year when we're here, I can have a lot of success about our Youth Apprenticeship Program. My time is up, and this is my contact information if you all would like to talk to me or see me about getting more information about the apprenticeship program. Again, thank you for your time.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
About 2 years ago, after our organization received a special certification through the U.S. Treasury to become a Community Development Financial Institution, which is CDFI for short, we had the crazy notion to achieve scale that we really need to expand regionally. And I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank Ted at the top for the work that you've done to help pave the way for us to really have those discussions across the region. I think if we had tried to do that 10 years ago, we would have been a run out of Anderson and Spartanburg County. So Dean was very involved in that process. And it really was a very beneficial discussion as we looked across the region and realized that even though Upstate is prospering and we've seen a lot of tremendous progress in areas of economic development and job growth, that there are clearly areas of our communities across the region that are not prospering, that are not doing as well. We do have very deep income disparities in some of the communities, especially in our urban core. So through that process, we actually jointly embarked upon what we call a regional needs and resource analysis to really look at those issues that were affecting our low-wealth communities as well as our constituents and residents across the state and some of the challenges that they have. Community Works is dedicated to increasing financial stability for low-wealth families as well as those communities, and trying to create economic opportunities and access to those opportunities for many of the residents who aren't really experiencing some of the prosperity. As part of that process, we really looked at expanding our organizational capacity. We looked at our peer groups, not necessarily peer groups, but at least leader groups, and who had a lot of success across the region through economic development, and really kind of have tried to really imitate some of their actions in terms of collaborating partnerships across the region, where we're building organizational infrastructure and capacity where we can not only meet the needs of the large metro counties in the region, but also eventually build a capacity where we can reach back and help some of our rural neighbors. And we're having a lot of success in doing that. Part of that, Part of that process that we engaged in, we were at that time called Greenville Housing Fund, and we knew right away that wasn't going to work well in Anderson or Spartanburg. So the first thing the group decided to do that we need to change our name and come up with a name that reflected part of our mission and purpose. And so we went through a very collaborative process. Debbie Nelson helped lead the effort and came up with the name. We also came up with a list of priorities and initiatives that we could approach together as a region and try to implement across the region. As a result of that, some of the programs that we have in place and the impact that we've had is to build people in places through education, lending, and investing. We've helped 759 families and contributed $78 million in local economic development and impact. Currently, those are the programs that we have in place and a list of the activities that have supported that impact. We've also looked at an integrated service delivery model that would assist us in meeting the needs across the upstate. We set up satellite offices in both Anderson and Spartanburg and have worked with local United Ways and community foundations and other nonprofit partners in those communities to set up satellite offices as well as remote access to services and programs for residents who would like to access our services. So they can go through the website. Most of our applications are online. But as you can see here, we have a number of programs and services that are available. And once again, our challenge is making those available across the upstate. Dean wanted me to at least give an example of a program where we had the regional partnerships and collaborations that have really had tremendous impact, and it's growing. The IDA program is an example of a federal program where we brought resources from national sources in. Our local United Way has had this program for a number of years and was really interested in achieving scale and reaching more people through this program. It's a 3-to-1 max savings program. So if a person 200% or a family 200% or below the poverty income guidelines saves $1,000, it will be matched with $3,000, and they can actually use that to purchase an asset, whether buying a home, going back to school, or being able to start a small business. This is an example of a program that we not only expanded here in Greenville County through a network of partners, but we are now also providing the service both in Anderson and Spartanburg through a variety of partners. Collectively, these partners, the residents who are saving in this program have saved over $181,000 of their own funds. We've had 53 graduates of the program, and the value of the assets that they've purchased is about $1.5 million. We continue to serve high African American population, which is where most of our poverty issues can be found throughout the region, and of course a growing Hispanic population as well. These are some of the regional partnerships that have been engaged in the successful implementation of the IDA program. Another major program that we're about to launch across the region is we've just become certified as an SBA micro lender. That will allow us to do SBA loans up to $50,000. Our footprint is actually a 16-county region, so we'll be able to go up as far as York and up in the Rock Hill area, all the way down to Greenwood with that program. But once again, having the capacity to serve that market, working through partnerships is going to be critical in the success of that program as well. So, thank you.
Good afternoon. Dean, I wish I could have gone first because those are very hard acts to follow. Congratulations to Russell, Carla, and Deborah for the great work y'all are doing. And thank you so much for including Upstate Forever in the celebration today. This year is our 15th anniversary. Not as far along as the other businesses that were recognized today. Been 125 years. Wow. It really is hard to believe that I left the law business 15 years ago to start Upstate Forever. So I'm still a recovering lawyer. But I'm pleased to report that the recovery process is almost complete. I really am very proud and pleased with what we've been able to accomplish since 1998. It's been a huge team effort that includes our superlative board of directors, great advisory council, an extraordinary staff of professionals. We have 3 basic programs: land trust, clean air and water, and sustainable communities. And all of them relate directly to keeping the upstate region both economically and environmentally prosperous. I would encourage y'all to check out our website, upstateforever.org, to learn more about what we do. So staying with that theme of our 15th anniversary, I'd like to share with you 15 accomplishments that we're really proud of. And also staying with the theme today of partnerships. We do almost all of our work in partnerships and collaborations. There is no way we could have done any of these accomplishments without the support of our partners. So as I go through these 15 accomplishments, I will recognize our key partners. First is the protection of over 17,000 acres of very special places across our region. Last week we signed our 91st conservation easement. We protected such places as Stumphouse Mountain, Greenbrier Farms, 4 Columns, missing pieces in the Mountain Bridge Wilderness area, areas adjoining Jocassee Gorges, and many other very special places. And the partners here are the landowners who entrusted Upstate Forever with the protection of their beautiful properties. Number 2 is the Swamp Rabbit Trail. This was actually our very first project we started working on back in 1998, and what a spectacular success. We did a study with Furman documenting the number of users in the second year. It was over 400,000 users in the second year on the Swamp Rabbit. It's been a huge economic boost to local businesses. It's transformed Travelers Rest. And our partners here were Carlton Owen, who was our board chair at the time that the project finally got underway with his leadership, Greenville County Economic Development Corporation, Greenville County Recreation Department, and the Greenville Health System. Number 3 is the bike share program. For those of you who live and work in Greenville, I hope you've seen the bike share stations that we have up. Greenville Health is the key partner here with a generous 5-year commitment to make this exciting project a reality. Other partners are the City of Greenville and the Greenville Transit Authority. Number 4 is the renovation of our main office in Greenville, for which we received the highest level of green certification possible, the LEED Platinum certification. There are only 4 other platinum projects in all of South Carolina. Many partners here, all of the contributors to our capital campaign that allowed us to do the project, and the many professionals, suppliers, and vendors who worked on the project, all of them gave us a substantial discount on their services and products. For those of you who have not been by to see our office, please come over anytime. We have an open door. We're really proud of what we've done there, and we'd love to show it to you. 507 Pettigrew Street, about 3 blocks from the Poinsett Club. Number 5 is the construction of the Upstate House, which is the first earthcraft home in South Carolina. The key partners here were the Greenville Home Builders Association, South Face Energy, and again, Carlton Owen. Number 6 was stopping the proposed and unnecessary mega landfill next to the Enoree River in Spartanburg County. The key partner here was a group of Spartanburg citizens that called themselves Spartanburg Citizens Against the Landfill. They were led by Dr. Joe Lassane, the former president of Wofford College and current Upstate Forever board member. Number 7 is the Saluda Reedy Watershed Study, which included the entire lengths of the Saluda and Reedy Rivers and Lake Greenwood. It was one of the most comprehensive watershed studies ever done in the United States. The partners here were the two main funders, the V. Con Rasmussen Foundation and Fujifilm, and a great team of scientists and researchers in the private, public, and academic sectors, including Dr. Dave Hargett, Furman, Clemson, Lander, DHEC, and DNR. Number 8 is the Upstate Growth Projection Study. that has been the subject of a lot of discussion in 10 at the Top's work. This was the eye-opening analysis done by the Strom Thurmond Institute at Clemson that shows what our region will look like in the future if development patterns remain unchanged. This study has provided a big wake-up call to the urgent need to change how and where we are growing in our region. Number 9 is the Greenville County Stormwater Bank that was approved earlier this year by Greenville County Council. This is a market-based, innovative incentive program for promoting smart growth, low-impact development, and improving water quality. This would not have happened without the support of Greenville County staff, Greenville County Council, Clemson, Rewa, and the sewer subdistricts. Number 10 is the improved parking lot standards for the City of Greenville, approved by City Council in Greenville also earlier this year. Key partners here were the city, Furman, and many developers worked closely with us on this initiative. Number 11 are limits on the amount of phosphorus being discharged from wastewater treatment plants into the Saluda River. This is one of the key findings coming out of our Saluda watershed study that showed that discharges of phosphorus really need to be limited to reduce threats to the rivers and Lake Greenwood. Partners here included DHEC, DNR, and Lander. Number 12 is the restoration of trout habitat on the South Saluda River. The partners were DNR, the Natural Resources Conservation Service, and the property owners along the restored section of the South Saluda. Number 13 is the establishment of the Oconee County Conservation Bank, the first local conservation bank that we have in the Upstate. The partners here were our local outreach group called Oconee Forever and Oconee County Council for approving it. Number 14, hosting hundreds and hundreds of conferences and workshops and field trips on a wide variety of topics over the last 15 years. Many co-sponsors and funders have made these events possible. And finally, and most important, number 15 are the nearly 2,000 individuals and companies who are members of Upstate Forever. We couldn't do our work. In fact, we would not exist without our members. For those of you who are members, thank you so much for your support. Shameless plug here. For those of you who are not, the back table, I have our most recent newsletter, membership forms. We'd love to have you join us and become part of our organization, or you can join through our website. Dean, 10 at the top, Neil, everyone, thank you so much for including us. Y'all have a great Thanksgiving.